Wayne County Community College is a beacon of hope for so many people who can see the impact it's made, and that we're celebrating the 50th anniversary and all the good that it's done.
It has been the pathway for so many to obtain a higher education.
Congratulations to Wayne County Community College for 50 years of service to Detroit, Wayne County, and all of Southeast Michigan.
Making education much more available and affordable. 50th year is just the beginning of the first century.
When you're having a heart attack, this is how it feels to your heart. And if it happens at night or on the weekend, there's only one hospital team standing by on site to save you. Cardio Team 1 at the DMC. Not on call, but on site, 24/7, 365. Cutting heart attack response time to half the national standard. Cardio Team 1, now at the new DMC Heart Hospital opening this summer. The beat goes on.
Women, married or single, if you are sexually active, you need to be tested for HIV/AIDS right now. If you are considering engaging in protected or unprotected sexual behavior with a new partner, get tested and insist that he is tested as well. Women get tested, especially if you are pregnant or considering childbirth. Information concerning HIV/AIDS programs, call 313-876-0548.
WHPR-TV is now on demand. Catch us when you want, how you want, where you want. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Watch your favorite TV shows on demand. And be sure to download the WHPR app. We're now on demand at your demand. WHPR-TV Detroit on demand.com. A Watkins Broadcasting Company.
Guy on TV said, "Shop at the warehouse store. You'll save money." I didn't save money. I wasted money.
Going anywhere other than Van Dyke's is a waste, because nobody gives you more style for the money than we do. Plus, right now at Van Dyke's, when you buy one suit, we'll give you 2 more of equal or lesser value free. That's 3 for 1. The lesson of this story?
When you buy clothes at a warehouse store, you're going to be disappointed. I guarantee it.
Van Dyke's on 10 miles just west of Southfield Road.
we are here, and we thank God for each and every one of you. I want you to know, my sisters and brothers, that we don't take your patronage and your loyalty for granted. Always know that we really appreciate your loyalty and your faithfulness to WHPR. And for that, we want to say thank you. We just always want to let you know how grateful we are because people don't have to be nice, and when they are, at least you can do is say thank you. I know I sound like a broken record every Saturday morning by telling you that, but I want you to always to know that we are grateful here at WHPR because people, there's a lot of options you got on that remote, and we want to let you know that we know that. But nevertheless, we just thank you so much. It is a Saturday morning, 25 days into the month of June, and the year is still the same, 2016. Going to have a beautiful day today, beautiful day on Monday. Got some rain coming in on Sunday. It's supposed to be later on, maybe like in the afternoon, early afternoon in terms of the rain, and it's supposed to be kind of heavy rain. But we'll just take it one day at a time. It is Michigan, and you know how that is when you're in Michigan as far as the weather is concerned. We just take it one day at a time, and certainly want you to know this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And so again, we thank you so much, and not only for your support of WHPR, but also for your support of for Hello Detroit. This program has been on for a number of years now, and probably working on our past our second decade. And so we just want you to know that we are very grateful to that, and certainly to R.J. Watkins and Henry Tyler for their service to this community as well as to this program. Got a wonderful program for you this morning. I want you to know that the second half, we have the Wayne County Treasurer coming in. He's due to come in live, so you might be able to talk to him, have questions for him, and also he might be able to talk to you about what you need to do in order to make sure that you save your home. There are a lot of questions that are still to be asked, and a lot of questions to be answered as well. And so I just want you to know, heads up, make sure you write your question down that you have for him, and so that you can be brief and concise, and that he might be able to give those answers to those questions this morning. So the 9 o'clock hour, the second hour of our program, will be the Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabri. This is historical, in the 200 and some years of the county, we never had an African American as a county treasurer, and I'm just proud of it. It's not to be anti anybody. It's just simply today I'm just proud of that, and he is a wonderful person. So you really got a lot looking forward to, not only in terms of the next hour, but also in terms of the treasurer's office for the county. And so I wanted to get your heads up on that. And then I want to talk about, if you don't mind, and certainly appreciate your calls. The telephone numbers will be coming up on your television screen in a couple of minutes. 868-0342, 868-0351, and 868-4336. They should be there now. And certainly my sisters and brothers want you to know that indeed the area code is 313, and that you might be able to call in. I really want to talk a little bit about what's going on, what's really going on. I mean, when you see what's happening in Europe the other day before yesterday, I mean, you're talking about where Great Britain is pulled out of the European Union and going at it on their own. When you see what's happening with our politics here in America, where you got the presumptive candidate, Mrs. Clinton, and also to Trump, and that battle that's going on, and how this country is really divided up. How in the world does a person like a guy named Donald Trump get to this point in politics, get to be a really sort of just a small opportunity, a big opportunity to be the next president of these United States, and what that would look like if it happens. and really what America looked like as we making our way through that. And so what's going on, my sisters and brothers? What's going on? I mean, when you look and see where you got a Congress that basically have a sit-in, the Congress has a sit-in, not voting, well, in spite of the vote, have a sit-in, and they singing coming out of the Congress, "We shall overcome," you know, and certainly, what's really going on? What's going on in American politics? What's going on in this country? Here you have the Attorney General for the United States is talking about what all we need is just love for the terrorists, not war, not boots on the ground, not trying to stop them where they are, but basically rather than to fight this battle with weapons, we're going to fight it with the weapon of love. So I just want to know, what do you think? I mean, what's really happening with all this going on here? As Marvin Gaye would say in his song, what's going on? I mean, really, what's going on? Mothers crying. I mean, you got in Chicago, as of this morning, it's over 1,000, about over 1,100 shootings. I use Chicago because, my sisters and brothers, it is unprecedented. I mean, obviously, for what's going on in Detroit, obviously we're concerned about that and should be. Baltimore is right. New Orleans, sure. Philadelphia, sure. But when you look and see what's happening with, I think it's 78% in terms of shootings that are up, 82% in terms of homicide. Right now, in July and June, the 29th, there are over 300 homicides in Chicago. Last year, the whole year, they had 400, but now we got 300, and it's half of the year. We're about at the half of the next week will be the first 6 months of the year, and you're talking about as I indicated, over 300 murders, 300 homicides in a city, and we're talking about having this debate about gun control in terms of terrorists. I mean, what's going on in terms of excuse me, John. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I tried to make sure I didn't get it over the air, but I apologize to you. It is live. I just saying to you, my sister and brother, what in the world is really going on is what we're talking about here. Caller, thank you for your patience. How are you this morning? Good morning
to you. Rev Holley.
Yes, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm looking at Europe. And long ago, back in the early 1900s, they tried to get a united Europe. And it was announced then, at that time, that a united Europe means a united capitalist class across Europe oppressing and exploiting the workers of Europe. So that's why you've seen that the bulk of the population, especially the working class in East London, overwhelmingly voted and for the break that unity up of the capitalist class in Europe. And you've seen workers all across Europe is now saying that they're tired of the capitalist system. And the immigrant, the refugee, this was started by the United States, bumming all those people totally inhuman across the Middle East and got all these refugee camps. And now they're wiping out the borders. And the workers at the so-called right wing and the left wing is tired of it. And it's a good thing that's happening, because what it's done, it just upset the whole capitalist economics, to say that. So, I'm seeing the same thing here in this country. I'm seeing behind Sanders, young workers are not in the workforce. They are about 93 million last time I took, and they're growing. Every time they come out of colleges every year and come out of high schools every year, there's no jobs for them. It's almost more people in this country not working than is working. So when you look at the not in the work, not in the labor force, but if you listen to the unemployment, that's not real. So what I'm saying, Reverend Holland, that I hope I definitely wouldn't vote for Clinton. What the Clintons have done to the black community, to vote for her means you're not too politically conscious. You ain't studied the Clintons. If you study them, they're not the Negro friends. But I would say this: if Trump got in, Trump said one thing. He said, "You talk about bringing in these refugees in the urban areas. They already don't have jobs, and you're gonna bring in another layer of people that is poor over them and give them the assistance while you cut out the blacks." It is in our interest, even though we know Trump cannot turn back the clocks of time. He would only get in there and show the masses of white that they must change this system. But I would vote for him on that basis. And another basis, I would vote for him, and I would never, unless if Sanders don't get in, I would vote for Sanders. But if between Hillary, I wouldn't vote for a woman who was with a man that put babies off of assistance in cities with no jobs, and babies are walking around with no shoes and no coats in sub-zero weather. I wouldn't do that, and then to put black people off of a public housing assistance, cut those and put them in reservations they call suburban black enclave. It was the Clintons. And so I would not follow the Black Caucus. I would not follow John Lewis. I would not follow no black official who tell me to vote for Clinton when she done these things. And I think that's what I see going on. But the last thing, Reverend Holley, and I'm through talking on this. Yesterday, I went to a meeting at the Renaissance High School, and the nail was in the coffin. They put us in the coffin and didn't allow the people to talk and nailed us up. Whereas I can tell you what's going to happen if we don't do it. They're going to have all the black schools closed. That means then you're going to force out all the young people out of the city. And they made a new school district illegally where white children can have downtown, as they come in, going to have school, but our black children ain't going to have school. And we sit back and did not unite and love our children and stop the whole redesigning in Detroit, not redevelopment, because every time something good happens and they put on TV, it's bad for the black community. Ain't nothing good down there. And I dare any politician to tell me what's to do, develop, what's being put up downtown and spread it out, how it's good, how it's going to impact us. You ain't got one politician to come to the black community and respect the black community and give us an impact analysis.
Okay,
so
I think
nothing good.
All right, I'll leave it at that. Again, like I said, Tyrone, I'm always at awe with your comments. In terms of your politics, it's okay. I mean, that's what free speech is all about. But in terms of your facts, I'm not quite sure that I just respectively disagree with your facts in terms of, and again, when you talk about Clinton versus Trump, I think we all got some concerns about the policy of Mrs. Clinton, but when you come down to the two, Reverend, it's just almost like it's a no-brainer. Trump is. This is you're trying to figure out. I can understand how you can be a wealthy person in terms of business and all this kind of stuff, but in terms of running the country, and how you basically you talk and how you talk to people and how you respond to people, you can't sit here and just call Putin crooked and other world leaders names. I'm just saying to you, this is no way to run a country. I'm just surprised that he's got this far. I'd be very honest with you. but also understand how he's got. I'm surprised, but I also understand how he got this far, because I know there are a lot of people in this country, and plus, especially the non-colored, and non-African American and non-Hispanic and Latino. Those, in other words, whites really feel very threatened, not only by the people, the refugees, but also threatened by minorities of this country, because they know they're about to be a minority. They're about to be a minority, and I think that's really what this thing is really all about. Obviously, we got some problems in terms of what's going on with ISIS. We always got some problems in terms of what we got about jobs and things like this. But again, you got to really be very cautious in terms of when you're talking about these facts that you're throwing out there. But you do have a right, and I certainly respect that. Caller, you in touch. How are you this morning?
I'm okay. How you doing, Rev Holley?
Thank you.
How you doing today?
Just fine, thank you.
Oh, that's good. I wouldn't agree with voting for Trump myself. Everybody has their choice who they want to vote for, and they have their right to vote for him. But I wouldn't vote for Trump. He haven't talked about what he was going to do. All he's doing is arguing with other candidates that was running and talking down on them. You know what I'm saying? And I watch his shows how he talks to people. He has no respect, for people. He talks down on the president and everybody else, and not only the president but everybody else. And he ain't done nothing himself. What has he done for the people? Before he started running, with all that money that he got. And the next thing I want to say about the city of Detroit, man, we can't keep making excuses talking about these folks are shooting each other because of no job. This ain't about no job. That ignorant fool shot my daughter. This is the kind of man. Shot my daughter not because he didn't have a job, because he was ignorant. He shot my daughter in the head last week, not because of no job, not because he didn't have no food. We went to court Wednesday. I was hoping he didn't look back at me, because I wouldn't have had no control of myself. You know what I'm saying? These Negroes is not doing this because of no jobs and food. We didn't have jobs and food back in the day. We didn't have, we had drugs and heroin back then. We got to quit making excuses why these fools is out here doing this. They shooting more people every day, black on black crime. Where's the signs that go up for Black Lives Matter when we kill each other? I ain't seen that out there. And people want, man, you got to do this, you got to do that, Black Lives Matter. Don't come to me with that. My daughter just got shot in the head, and she was related arrest last week. I don't want to hear that. Get out my face. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that on TV. These guys calling in and talking about food and jobs. That's why we're killing each other. Then we some ignorant folks then, if that's why we're killing each other.
Right,
we're killing each other. How come we ain't killing other races, if that's the case? We ain't in charge over the job. I don't want to hear that. Everybody, these people be calling in talking about why they doing stuff. Well, why they won't go kill white folks and Arabs and all them and Asian people, if that's the case. Gotcha. We just some wild animals. We fools out here, man. And yes, I'm mad, and I'm sorry, Reverend Holley, but I'm mad as heck because they took my only daughter. And they sitting up here calling in talking about jobs. That's why we killing each other. How come we won't go kill other folks?
Gotcha.
Why don't you go join the army if you want to do some killing or shooting and stuff?
All right,
thank you for taking my call, man. I'm pissed, man.
Call you in touch, her this morning.
Oh, just fine, Reverend Holley.
Yes.
Reverend Holley, now you're a minister. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. When the president, when you invade countries, in Iraq, we killed 1,222,000 Iraqi citizens. We go, the American Empire, where did the people in this city get the guns from? You have substandard education. You have no education, poor job training, and then they got the availability of guns. Where did they get these guns from? This is nothing but a plan to destroy the people. We have we owe $1.3 trillion in student debt. You got college-educated people out here without jobs. You want the immigrants to stop coming over here? Well, tell Trump that stop bombing Syria, stop bombing Iraq, stop bombing Afghanistan, and the people can stay in their own country. Now, this is because this has been the plan for years, was to take over Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and to steal their oil and their minerals. That's what this is about. This is not about taking democracy to the Middle East. Your president is the drone president of the world. He has killed more people with drones than any president in the history. And when he comes out of office, he's going to be on the board of Bechtel, one of the biggest arms dealers in the world. We make all the arms. The United States, our economy depends on the arms. So I think you all need to shut up. You make all the guns and the bullets. He just sold arms to North Korea. He just sold billions to Saudi Arabia, billions of arms that they shooting and killing children all over the Middle East. So you all need to shut up. This is the empire doing this thing. They're going to take over the Middle East. We killing people all over. What in the heck you talking about killing your people? We killing other people all over the world, all over the Middle East, black and brown and people of color. That's the truth. Those are not lies. That's the truth. This is what the empire wants to do. And Miss Hillary, the big dog that they're gonna get is going to be Iran. Your children get your boots on the ground because you all getting ready to march off to another war. You keep your head in the sand. You keep your head in the sand about the world. This is a global society that we live in. You understand? It's a global society. So this is how it's going to be. Don't be hollering about your kids dying. Other kids in other countries are dying with the bullets that you pay for. Until you use name. Like Sandra said, until you use your name. And until we, the people, the taxpayers, let me tell you, taxpayers, we own this country. This country belongs to all Americans, all of us. And all those bombs and guns and those planes, we got missiles in the sky. We're going to fight wars in the sky now. Who did? Okay. Courtesy of your black president and the corporations, bankers, best interests, lobbies, and the military industrial complex. Now, that's how things going to be. Right. Until you all start electing better leadership and demand that Americans come first. Our needs. Look at Flint. What did he do for Flint? It is 60 men, who can repair the plumbers. Said, you all give us $60 million. We will pull all the pipes out of Flint. None of them have did nothing for Flint. Those people are still suffering with what? Your president came here. He went into the back rooms with the governor and said that people under 6 years old and pregnant women shouldn't drink the water. If I'm a day over 6 years old, should I drink the water? If I'm soon to be impregnated, should I drink the water? If it's not safe for pregnant women, it's not safe for children over 6 years old. Okay. Is it safe for us to drink?
Okay.
That's what they do for your Americans.
Okay, I think I don't know what's going on this morning. I got to make sure all y'all got. I'm gonna have Tim Horton and McDonald's and somebody all to try to get some coffee. I mean, anyway, I appreciate the call, but I do feel like I don't know what the answer. What as the song says, what is the answer? What is the answer if you're trying to fight ISIS? How do you fight them if you don't try to use drones? And of course, what they do is they embed themselves with citizens and innocent people, and obviously they do that on purpose, and so that there's going to be what they call casualty casualties when you come down to this war. I think obviously a lot of innocent people do get killed. You're absolutely right. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I think at some point or another that there's got to be some discussion as to how we're going to respond, because you can't do war like we used to do it. Things are just changing. It's changing. And then, of course, we also know that this country is the hypocrisy that goes on in terms of the fact of how we support one country because they don't like gays, and then you support Saudi Arabia. They don't like, they basically anti-gay, and so but you support them. You in other words, politics is there's no consistency. And I just use that as an example, not necessarily as a holistic example, but basically just to tell you the hypocrisy that goes on in this country, and the hypocrisy that goes on with our foreign affairs. And of course, I think that a lot of this, of course, it comes back to visit us. Based on what we're doing to people around this country. But what is the answer? What is the answer? You know, what is the answer? Is it really what the Attorney General has said in a press conference a few days ago, is that we think we ought to really use love as a weapon to confront ISIS? I'm that's not quite sure if that's going to work. But I do understand it does in some cases. It does, but with this particular situation, in terms of ISIS and their philosophy, and what they want to do, and in the book that they read, the word love is not even in it. And so again, this is the kind of things that we got to talk about. And obviously, I just want to be respectful to each other. That we all have a right to our opinion, and this is it is a talk show, and obviously we're looking for opinions, and I just ask that you all respect each other's opinion. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, fellow patriots.
Yes, how are you?
Oh, good. I guess I'm good, because I guess I cut on to this is the Holley Gloom and Doom report. If I heard the report and I believe everything that the caller said, I don't get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
What we got here, Reverend Holley, is a lot of disrespect in America.
Yeah.
You know, when 92% of Americans want simple gun laws changed, and it don't happen. When the people of Michigan go out of their way to make democracy work, to erase Public Act 4, and it don't happen. It's a problem in America when the American people feel that they have no voice in the Congress. I guess that's what they're sitting in. I'm happy that the Congress sit down and, you know, I know it was just a one-day protest, but it was a loud protest as far as I was concerned. At least you're doing something. At least you're shaking up the status quo. You know, I know more people wanted them to stay a little bit longer, but, you know, hey, you made the point. You made your point.
Yeah.
You know, the Republicans going to be the Republicans. They're going to do what they want to do. It seemed like they anti-American. So I got to figure that these guys don't want America to work.
Yeah.
It's not working like we're supposed to. When the people speak, they out there representing the people. When the people saying we want simple gun change and it don't happen, it's a problem, Reverend Holley.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
So, you know, when you say what is the solution, the solution is to persevere like our ancestors did. That's all. And to things get better, till we get people. There's some young revolutionaries coming up right now, thanks to Bernie Sanders. They're thinking about politics and how they change. I seen a 16-year-old young man on a talk show last night talking about global warming and having the young people talk about, because that's an important issue. Global warming.
Yeah.
So the young people are getting involved. Every generation has its fight, and the next generation will be fighting for true democracy and true fairness in not only in America, in the world.
Yeah.
And we don't have that until the generation. So the leadership has failed its people in America.
Right. Thanks
so
a lot.
It's about the attitude. There was a talk show when Channel 62 was out. He used to come on, and it was this guy on. He used to say it just about every week.
He said, what's wrong with the young people? He said, it's all about attitude. It's attitude. What is your attitude?
Oh, yeah.
So we got to change the attitude of people.
Yeah, thank you.
For one, it's getting the people in office to hear the people. The people are talking, and we're not being heard. That's what the problem is.
Gotcha.
And that goes across. That I heard Kenny today, the Candleman. I hear the pain in his heart about his daughter, and with good reason. But there's a lot of pain going around with the 49 people in Orlando. It's just shootings across America. We can't get across. We can't get across crazy people picking up a gun. And Rev Holley, you want to shoot somebody, police can't stop you.
Yeah.
They cannot.
Yeah. Because
they can't be everywhere.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, my friend. As always, I appreciate your call. I want to try to get this piece in that my producer helped me to put this together. I was trying to get a piece in terms of the Attorney General's comments about the fact of that the weapon that we need to I'm paraphrasing is the weapon that we need to use against ISIS and the weapon that we need against terrorists is really to use love for transformation. And then also this sit-in that took place with the Congress and led by, as I understand it, led by John Lewis, and coming out of that with We Shall Overcome, and as a result of trying to get legislature passed as far as gun control. And again, as I indicated to you, we understand that we talk about the gun control for this country, but when I look and see what's going on in Chicago, in terms of over 1,000 shootings and over 300 murders in one city, and we're not even trying to. I mean, that's one city, and we're not even trying to deal with that. How do we control that? And those are with guns, for the most part, with guns. And so we can't really deal with one city. How are we going to do with 50 states? And so I want to see if I can put this in, if I could, producer, and if we can run that at this particular time. But I appreciate it.
A handful of Democrats this morning are still holding an extraordinary sit-in on the House floor. They want a vote on new gun laws.
Call these Republicans up on the phone and tell them we want to vote.
Bring common sense gun control legislation to the House floor. Give us a vote.
The 60s-style protest even included members singing, "We Shall Overcome."
Cameras and microphones were off, so members just streamed the sit-in from their own personal phones. House Speaker Paul Ryan tried to bring order.
The chair appreciates that members will differ on matters of policy and will seek to express those differences. But the chair would hope that the business of the House could be conducted in a fashion that respects positively on the dignity and the decorum of this institution.
Nancy Cordes is just outside the House chamber after the all-night protest and joins us this morning. Good morning, Nancy. Good to see you again.
Good morning to you, Gail.
So the House is adjourned till after July 4th. The July 5th is when they go back into session. So where do Democrats go from here?
Well, that's what they're going to be discussing in one of the Democratic leaders' offices a little bit later this morning, because on one hand, they don't want to pack it in without something to show for their efforts. But on the other hand, how much bang for their buck do they really get by occupying the House floor for 2 weeks over a recess during a holiday? So that's what they're trying to figure out right now.
Well, you know, this is the first time that we've ever seen anything like this. We've had the shooting in Newtown. We've had it in Aurora, Colorado. There was a shooting in the church in South Carolina. Why do you think now is the time they decided we are going to do something now?
Because, frankly, I think that Democrats feel that their previous strategy hasn't worked. They've been completely unsuccessful at passing new gun legislation, even though they believe that public opinion is on their side. So they felt that they needed to do something dramatic. Republicans say, hey, drama's fine, but you need to respect the rules of the institution. Otherwise, this place will turn into a free-for-all anytime either side has an axe to grind.
Nancy, what's the harm in having a vote?
because House Republicans believe that Democrats simply want to make them look bad. Democrats know that most Republicans will vote no on this measure, and then they will use that to hammer Republicans during elections that are taking place in just a few months. Beyond that, House Republicans say it's the principle of the thing, that Democrats shouldn't be able to break the rules, disrupt the business of the House, and then be rewarded for it.
All right, Nancy, thank you so much.
And again, I really thank you so much for allowing me to bring in, and certainly want to let you know we're very grateful to CBS for that piece that we are trying to bring to you at this particular time on this particular show, and of course, in case you missed all of that took place this week. But my sister, but now remember now, if there was a time when we had a Democratic president, and we had also a Democratic Congress. And at that particular time, which means you got a president and a Congress, and you did nothing about gun control when you had that. And so, and this is what I'm talking about, the hypocrisy. And then and when you see something like this, you see normally this kind of chaos in government in third world countries. You see them that you don't ever see this in terms of what we see in Washington, and so this is why I really say to you, I mean, what's going on here? What's going on? This is not typical in terms of politics, and in terms of how you basically if you're showing the country that you basically have this kind of chaos and disruption in the Congress, what do you think is going to happen out here in the street? I mean, and this is the thing that we have to be very much concerned about. And I'm just saying to you is that remember when we had a Democratic president, we had a Democratic Congress that did nothing about gun control. And now that you do have this a president, this Democrat, and the House controlled by Republicans. And so again, you're talking about gun control, but again, look what's happening in Chicago. Look what's happening in Chicago, and so of course there was 2 bills that were voted down, and so it wasn't like something didn't happen. It's just it was voted down, and of course the lobby for the NRA is very powerful. It's just very powerful. And so again, I just wanted to indicate to you. I mean, and then here you come right behind the Great Britain pulling out of the Europe Union. I mean, you pull that, and if you're not careful, and understand this, I disagree with Tyrone in terms of this what's happening in Europe. First of all, I think it should not have been a simple majority, because it's just 52% that have voted for it. It should have been a much a super majority rather than just a majority, and because again it's just too important, and it does have consequences not only in Great Britain, but it has consequences all over the world, and especially this country. I'm not suggesting, I mean, certainly a country should have a right to go in the way it wants to go. I mean, in terms of their politics. And obviously this is what's happening in America. And so I'm just saying to you is that you got to be concerned. You got to be concerned. And so with one eye, it's got to be domestic, but also in the other eye, you also got to look a little bit broader in terms of global, because again, my sisters and brothers, this is going to just be a distraction to some degree. In my opinion, it will be a distraction from domestic policies that we need to deal with, like jobs and education in urban America and those kind of things in terms of what we really need. And of course, this interest rate, you're trying to make sure that they keep it down so we can continue to have disposable income, value to the disposable income. The dollar it's got to be protected, because you have nothing to back the dollar up. The dollar's not backed up by gold. It's not backed up by silver. It's just it's not backed up by anything. And this is the reason why you have this when you go out of the country. You have where the value of the dollar is you can't get much with it. So I'm just saying to you is that don't play this stuff down. Don't play this stuff down like it doesn't really matter. It does matter. And the politics that we got in this country really matters. And I think that that we owe that the leadership of the Democrats owe us a stronger leadership and honesty with us and be transparent with us and to really be forthright with us. And also in terms of the other side, they need to have the same thing. But I'm telling you, my sisters and brothers, that this is what's going on in this country, what's going on in this world. It is to be suspect, and this is what I'm trying to say to you. And I know many of you feel like I'm overreacting. I can feel it through the airways that you feel like I'm overreacting and that I just don't know what I'm talking about. Well, perhaps you're right, but we'll see. Call you in touch. All right, this morning.
How you doing, bro?
Good morning. How are you?
All right. I just want to say, man, condolences out to Candle Man.
I can't hear you.
I just want to say condolences out to Candle Man. And, Reverend Holley, I feel where he's coming. I feel where he's coming from. Because, just because we don't have jobs, just because we lack, do that mean we hurt each other? And have we arrived to that point to where we have a generation who lacks the inability to deal with their own calamities? So they act out on you and they take it out on you. This ain't got nothing to do with jobs. He was 100% right. We know what it is. Yet for decades we have ignored that problem. The problem exists because we have a base of people who don't care about life other than theirs, and they don't teach their kids nothing. And that's what we do. Our biggest, listen, I get tired of that. Let's march about taking the streets back. You have a group of individuals who are no older than 21 years old, and this is in the Bible, Reverend Holley. They raised by women and oppressed by each other. The children are oppressing each other to the point where they're depressing the community. You have these illogical thinking mothers and fathers who's giving birth to these children that's killing out here. Keep this in mind. We need to put the blame where the blame belongs. This is the child. You see these two boys who was on the news the other day. One was 20, one was 21. These are the children of people who are no more than 33, 32. People who are no smarter than the children they're giving birth to, but refuse to let you help them get smart. Refuse to let you help them see things in a better way. Okay. It is a shame to see what this generation is sending themselves through and putting us through and people like you through. Okay. The blame rightfully it should go right where it belongs.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I agree with you, Candle Man. We weep with you. We understand you. And how dare people be insensitive enough to say if a person had a job. Let me tell you about a person with a job. We remember on the news, Reverend Holley, when that guy at Ford Motor Company shot everybody on his line and took himself out. He had a job, a good one, with benefits, perks. So don't tell us it's about a job when we know it's pure stupidity and a person's inability to live above his own situation. It's not our fault. Y'all bringing babies in this world that y'all can't take care of, and the fact that you brought a baby in this world that you couldn't take care of, your baby thought that he or she should take care of themselves, abandon the abode of their home, and now they're doing things on their own because they had nothing to begin with. Right. It's a shame when you lay down with another guy or you lay lay down with a woman and you have a baby and you have.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I hear you. I think you made your point. I'm gonna leave it to that. I got to take a break, and if as I indicated, my guest for the next hour is scheduled to be the Wayne County treasurer, and I would certainly want. It's very important because on the 30th is the last day that we have to pay our taxes for our homes, and so I just want to make sure and what programs are there to help you. And you got to take advantage of it, and you got to take advantage of me having him here. You got to take advantage of this. He's not in here yet, so I'm trying to say to you before he gets here, my sister and brother, you got to ask the questions. What can I do to save my home? What can I do? You know, and the rules and the regulations of those kind of things, because he's the man that can answer all the questions. And so don't be listening to no one else. Just listen to what he has to say. And, of course, my sister, brother, see what we can do to help you between now and the 30th. There are programs out there. I just don't know who they are or what they are. He does. So I want to make sure you get pencil and paper and take notes, and that you take numbers and those kind of things in terms of how he can help. And so, again, the Wayne County treasurer is coming in. And we have this hour set aside just for him and you. I'll let you do the talking. He does the talking, and I'll just stay out of it because I want to make sure that you get every question answered. It's very important, very important. Now, so again, you have this feedback back and forth with the Wayne County treasurer. So hopefully, but when we come back, he will be here, and we will basically have the second hour. If not, we will continue talking about what's going on. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.